Is Dynasty the worst Flesh and Blood set? That's what we're talking about today here on Master Set Madness. Thanks to the shout out from Fabled Hunters. They mentioned me in a review they did on Dynasty, and I thought, well, you know what? That means I better open some Dynasty. I better take a little bit of a break from Outsiders, crack some Dynasty, and today we're gonna hit 80 boxes. This is the 80 box mark here for Dynasty, and you're gonna get my take on whether or not this set Dynasty is the worst set in Flesh and Blood or not. If you hadn't listened to their conversation, you should do that. It was a good, interesting one. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed hearing their perspective, and been listening to what they put out for a while now, so that was nice. And I'll give you, just from the start here, I don't think Dynasty is the worst set, at least from my perspective, because it's got beautiful foils like Scramble Pulse in it. I do love Scramble Pulse. Anyways, but I'll tell you which one I think, for me, is the worst set later on. Anyways, they had a lot of different points in the video, and one of the big ones was talking about the middle tier and the issue about the middle tier rarity and how that's disappointing, right? So I appreciated the way that, Saint Fable Hunters really described this and took time to, talk about how, essentially for fab, for collecting, from Welcome to Wraith all the way up to even Uprising, like getting the pinnacle of collecting legendaries specifically in a set was the cold foil version. Dynasty then took this and it messed it all up. Seasoned Savior. Look at that. Look at how it just messes it all up. Beautiful, beautiful. Check that off our list. Progress is being made. Progress is being made. Oh, finally some progress. If I could get that many marvels in Outsiders. As I was saying, so Dynasty, they upended that. They created this kind of middle tier version where cold foils, 3 of the cold foil legendaries, 3 of the 5, they have a Marvel version above it, right? And so that then creates this middle tier where the cold foil version of it is not the nicest version. It's not the coolest version, and because of that, it makes it a little less exciting when you get it, right? And it's quite a bit less exciting. Heat Seeker, I like seeing that foil. I do like that one. It's, and I would pause to say too, it's not just the value, but it's not exciting knowing you didn't get the best version of it when there's another version available within the packs. It just lowers the excitement level down, whether that's a legendary or any other kind of card, right? It doesn't just have to be legendaries, but a middle tier version is not as nice as the high tier version, right? And so specifically with these cold foil legendaries, it's really not a good feeling because of how difficult they are to get, right? It's not like they made those easy to get and then, they're kind of all over the place and you see them quite a bit. But one of the bigger challenges is because they're still super difficult and they're also not like the best version. So I've opened, this is case 20, but in the first 19 cases, I only got 3 cold foil legendaries. 3 in Dynasty. And that is rough. That is really, 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 really rough. And so when that's the card that you get, that's the big pull, 3 in 19 cases, and then it's, oh, well, that's not the big version. But Leave No Witnesses, that is a big one. That one's been moving. That's a foil version. Dynasty, it's time to be opening Dynasty. I'm telling you, maybe this will be good luck for when I go back to Outsiders. We need it. We need it. Yeah. I'm sorry, I got stuck in Outsiders land in my mind. So yeah, that's really not fun. It's just not a good feeling. If I had, if I'd opened, I don't know, how do you put a number on it? 5, 6, 7 cold foil legendaries, honestly even 10, I don't know, whatever in Dynasty, then it wouldn't feel so rough when you open one. It would be like, okay, I got one. Cool, that's awesome, I got another one. It's not the best, but you know, it's still there. Now it's like you can open 20 cases. We're on case 20. You open 20 cases, you get 3, and you're like, wow. That's all I got was the mid-tier version. You know, if it was, wow, we got the big high-tier version, it'd be different, right? It'd be different. And so even for Spirit of Arena, which unfortunately is the one that I got 2 of, unfortunately, so even though that's the high-tier version for that card, you know it's not the high-tier version of a legendary. So it doesn't really matter that that one doesn't have a Marvel above it. What matters is this, you look at it and you think, well, it's still not a Marvel legendary. And within that set, you can get Marvel legendaries. So it's, from my perspective, it's still a middle tier legendary. Even though it doesn't have a version above it, it still has that same feeling, right? Even if you removed the, like, sure, go ahead and you can remove the cold foil, Crown of Dominion, Soraya, Emperor. I'd still look at the Spirit of Arena cold foil, and it would just not be that exciting. It wouldn't be that exciting. Even if, again, I'm talking about looks and collecting. So let's say even if Bolton was rocking it and that card would, you know, just be super expensive because everybody has the need for it and wants to play it. Sure, that would increase the excitement, just the monetary excitement, right? And you can't pretend that that's not a real part of the equation. But from the collecting side, it would still be like, oh, and I've said, I don't know how many videos I've said this in, but it would be kind of like, oh, I kind of wish, you know, there was a little bit better version, or that I got a better version. I don't know, that's for me, that's how I feel about it. That is how I feel about that. Hyperdriver. Cold foil there. A little predatory strike. And never yield. We almost lost you. Never yield. That's what we're doing here in Dynasty. Despite that long, nasty list of cards on the side, we have not yielded. And of course, you know, Black Tech Whisperers, it held value because it's the first legendary for an assassin. And I think because of that, it did help. It did help the excitement of that card. And obviously it has some more value. But I'm pretty sure that I said it earlier on too. I said, wouldn't it be cool if that one had a Marvel version? Again, that's for me from a pure collecting on the way things look. You know, not thinking about the price of how that affects everything else. And to me, it was like, oh, I'd like that. I know some people, you know, they wouldn't like that. They don't like the differences, you know, how it affects making some equipment. You have this kind of cool border and others. Again, I agree with that, and I agree that that gets kind of messy and wonky, and that's one of the reasons I made that whole video a while back about, you know, uh-oh, what kind of direction are we going to go for Marvels? Especially, you know, that. But, you know, it's already there, right? So that's already there now, and so for me, it's like, well, that border's there. Sure, go ahead and put it on the Black Tech. I don't care if it's not, you know, one of the royal things or whatever. I don't know. I think it would be cool. That's my perspective. And there, speaking of the old Black Tech Whisperers, there it is. Very, very cool. And sure, maybe you don't even put that border, but I want to see what's down there. And I'd like something a little bit more than just an extended art. Like, it would be cool. It would be so, so, so cool. And that's, oh man, I'm going off script here. You got to be careful though, of course, with going down the whole that's cool idea, because that's exactly, you know, checking my own self here. That's what Magic the Gathering has done. They went down the that's cool framework, and now nothing's cool. I don't know how many times I look at a Magic, I don't know, set or description now, and I see I look at the cards and I'm like, wow, that one kind of looks cool there. Wow, that looks really neat. That looks awesome. But I don't even take I don't know, even if it's like $1, I'm not going to buy it. I just, like, why? There's so much, you can't keep up with it. There's too much cool, right? You can go too far with cool. And so there's definitely a big point about reining it in, controlling it, and limiting the amount of amazing things you do. Of course, I think that makes it better. It definitely makes it better. Now, something else about this, you know, mid-tier idea. If you go, so like from a pure collecting standpoint, okay, we can step out even beyond just the booster boxes. Cold foil legendaries have always been, like the version you get in a box, it has always been mid-tier. Right, what do I mean by that? I mean by that is that there's gold foils, right? You can get a gold foil legendary. And sure, you know, honestly, I haven't actually seen one in person. Dead eye, like that. Haven't seen one in person, so I couldn't tell you from my own like perspective of which look I like better. But at least from a value perspective, like that, the cold foil ones you're opening in a pack, that's the mid-tier. That is the mid-tier. And, you know, of course, I agree and I support the idea that they have some really awesome prize support. There's Regicide Extended Art. We already got you, though. We got you in the last one, I believe. But nice. Look at this. Look at this case. This is a good case. This is a good case. We have seen much, much worse cases of Dynasty. And so, like, yeah, prize support, great. You can have some cool, awesome versions. I think it's great for the game. It's a great way to support people who are playing it and want to play it at a high level and generate excitement. It's awesome. But it also does remind you, at least it does for me, that every time I open a cold foil legendary, Marvel or not, it's not the high tier version, right? It is not the highest version you're going to get. And unlike Marvel's, you're never going to open that gold foil. You're never going to open it. And for most of us, you're never going to have one. Because they're so rare and so limited. And of course, that's what makes them even more exciting and more awesome. But it kind of, in a way, it does take a little bit away from that idea that anybody can open, you know, something in a pack, leave no witnesses. Right, which again, big thing with Magic, it's like, well, everybody who opens a draft pack, it'd be cool if you could get all the variations. You don't have to buy this fancy, expensive collector, you know, version. Or a gold foil, doesn't matter if you buy whatever, you're not gonna get it. You just gotta buy it straight up. And for me, that's never gonna happen. I don't know, at least at this point in my life, I can't put that much money on one card. And I don't know when or how I would ever get to the point where I would. So, anyways, that's a much less visible thing than all the changes in Dynasty, and I do have to admit, with the Marvels and different things, you know, cold foil legendary, it's not as exciting for me as they were, and even as I'm opening outsiders, it doesn't have the same feel that it did back in the day. Does it mean it's wrong? Not necessarily, right? Because I mean, honestly, in outsiders, the first thing I think about, as I did just here when I opened that black deck, is I think about what would this card look like if it had a Marvel, right? And so one of the reasons I asked that question is because the Marvels, they look amazing. They look great. They look awesome. And I want awesome looking cards. I like collecting cards that look amazing, right? So like that's, you know, example is, one of the reasons I asked that is because of Soraya. Like, that card, when I opened that card, it looked so good. It is just, it's great. And whatever the price is on the cold foil Soraya, when you compare it to the Marvel, it's just like, well, I don't want the cold foil version. Like, I mean, I do. I need it for the set. Still, it's on the list. It's on the list. I do want it. So don't get me wrong. But from a collecting perspective, it's like, I don't care about. Sorry, not collecting. That's not the right word. I don't know. Whatever. From a comparison perspective, it's like the Marvel or the cold foil. Not only is it not the highest tier, but it pales in comparison to how good that Marvel looks. And look at this Dead Eye. We have gotten so many foil Dead Eyes in the last couple of cases. Is that 3 cases in a row? Foil Dead Eye. That's great. Though surgical extraction has completely gone dry here on the channel, I have found all the boxes that do not have surgical extractions. I've found them all. Ooh, almost missed you, Looming Doom. I'm sure I've thrown some Majestics in there. Sorry guys if there's a buckle. Yeah, just write the word buckle in the comments if you know that joke. Anyways, what was I saying? What were we talking about? Yeah, like, it's just, so seeing that Soraya, I look at All the other ones, Imperial Edict, oh, we got that one last time. We did get that one last time. But now we've got 2 of them. Now I can sell one? I don't know about that. So like Outsiders, right? You've got 2 chest pieces with extended art. Cool. They look great. Open that trench. Beautiful, beautiful card. At the same time, I look at it and I think to myself, is this just like kind of a Marvel? It's like, it's almost there, but it's not quite as cool as a Marvel, right? And so it's cool, but it's not, I don't know, that's kind of how I feel with it. Because I could still think in my mind, what if it was a Marvel, right? That's how I feel. That's how I feel. And that's because Pandora's box has been opened now that we've seen Marvels, now that we've seen Marvel equipment, we've seen Marvel weapons, we've seen Marvel all sorts of stuff. The box is opened for just the desire. Like, here you go. Here's your mid-tier, right? Look at your mid-tier here. Does it matter to you that most of you don't care about this card anyways? But mid-tier, like, the mid-tier card looks good. It looks good, but I'm just not going to be excited about that one when I got this option next to it, right? So even, I don't know, it changes everything. The perspective, I don't know, why are you going over there? Get over there. I don't need you. I don't need you, do I? I don't think so. You're not on the list. You're not the kimono, not the Aether Tide. What are we saying? I don't know what we're saying anymore. We're too far in the video to be saying anything meaningful. We're only on box 3. We are only on box 3. Wow, this is potential. This has potential to be a really good case. It's got potential. And we'll do a price check. We'll do a price check at the end. We will do a price check. Okay, let me gather my thoughts here. Get a couple more Shield Walls Assassins out of the way. And so, yeah, the problem really, for me, it's kind of, again, it's perspective. I like saying things are about perspective. And so just the fact that, you have Marvels around, now I start to look at all cards and think, what could that look like as a Marvel? Again, I don't think that every card should be a Marvel, because you need to have, like, things need to be unique and special. Once every card's a Marvel, then whatever, no card's a Marvel. And, it just gets, I don't want to go down that hole. I want to go down that train and do not support that train. I have left Magic mostly, and I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. Ooh, gold foils. Gold foils, that's right. Gold foil, that is the right term, not the wrong term. Gold foil. I got all this stuff in the way here. The other thing is that, so if Marvels, again with perspective, if Marvels had been around from the beginning, then we probably wouldn't be having this conversation, right? Marvels would just feel like a normal thing as part of the set. Now we might still, have a debate about which cards should be Marvels or how many Marvels, but it wouldn't be the exact same conversation. Marvels would just feel like part of the framework of Flesh and Blood, which they are now. But it would have felt like, you know what I mean? The frameworks, part of the initial goings of it, wouldn't feel like a big change, because it wouldn't have been a change. Anyways, Fab, it needs to be able to evolve, right? So we wouldn't want to impose on Legend Story Studios any sort of sense of, you can't change things, you can't do new things, you gotta leave it the way that it is, because once you do that, like, Ken just signing a death warrant for a game. Like, of course, the opposite end of that is also the death warrant if you change everything. Changing everything is always a terrible idea. Shuko, get out of here. Get out of here. And so Marvels, they look great. I'm happy they're here. I'm glad they're here. I think they make this set a lot more fun to open. I have a hard time imagining what the set would have felt like not having those Marvels in it. Who knows? Maybe it would have been great. It's hard to go back and think about that though, because I've experienced it with Marvels, and I can imagine it without it, but it's, once you saw Uprising, it's, you know, Marvels are coming. That, you know, that ship sailed, and I'm happy they're here. I'm glad they're here. I just wish that you could get them more often. Like, I would love to get another Soraya. Obviously, I'd like to get the ones I need for my list, but I would not complain if I got a new Soraya. Wouldn't complain. And then other than Marvels, I spent the whole time talking about Marvels. There's Buckle. I will not throw him in the pile. I found it, I saw it, and I noticed it. I did notice it. You know, other than Marvels, I thought Dynasty did, you know, it had the fun, of course, of having a new class. That was, from my perspective, better than previous supplemental sets. That's nice, it's exciting. It's a little weird with, you know, pack distribution and some things, but it did make it more fun. You know, the weird double foils and all that stuff, whatever. It's cool, I like it. I think really the biggest problem for me in Dynasty is actually just the variance. Like, the variance is really, really rough. I have 3 cold foil legendaries in almost 20 cases basically here. That to me is, I don't like it. I don't like it. And it's impressive. It's actually really impressive. Either I just have terrible luck, or it's super impressive that they are as cheap as they are. Even with the Marvels, because I don't have any to sell to anybody. I have opened 1 that I could potentially even sell. So I'm not making the market go down on that. That is not my fault. That is not my fault. It does show you how much they're desired, though. Really, really gives you a good perspective on how exciting they are. And you can talk about playability too, but it's not just playability. It's not just playability. It has a huge factor, obviously. But I know a lot of people who buy cards and they never play with them. Right? I do know quite a few people who do that. Yeah, and the variance is just, I mean, even these guys they're super rare to get, and even when you do get them, again, because they're just not super desirable, like, it's kind of like, whoa, I got this really rare card that just doesn't do anything. I'm not going to use it, and it definitely isn't helping me get the value back on my box. So the variance, that's a big thing for me. I wish that more of the big fancy versions of cards were just cards that were more exciting. Anyways, I got this far. And I didn't tell you what my least favorite set is. Is that Berserk? So for me, actually, I think I like Everfest the least. That's how I feel. It's a subjective, of course. And I wasn't a huge fan of the carnival theme. That was a big downer for me, was the carnival theme. I mean, if you want to hear me open some boxes and ask about that, go back to my Everfest. Actually, just don't. Those are pretty bad videos. But I was not like overwhelmingly thrilled by the theme of it. The legendaries, they had the same problem with Dynasty, where there wasn't a ton of a lot of value in them, and especially for how often they appeared. And of course, they didn't appear very often because there's only 3 of them. And you know, it worked for crew to have 2 legendaries. But other than that, for me, I would much rather have sets that have 5 or more. 6 is, yeah, whatever. 6 is okay. I think 5 is a good one. Good number in that. And then, as I said before, at least kind of from my perspective now, Marvels, they affect sets that they're not in. And so I know this would make a lot of people upset. It's like, don't do that. I mean, again, there's already a type of border for it, but I look at Stalagmite and I think, yeah, give me a Marvel version. Give me a Marvel version of that card. I love that card. That's great. Even do something wild with some alternate art. Somebody's holding the shield doing something cool. I would love that. I would love to see that. That'd be cool. I don't know if you guys... Oh, I thought there was something. I thought almost looked like a cold foil. And with a Heartseeker there. I just think that when I look at Everfest, it's like, it wasn't exciting. There wasn't anything really to chase. Like, the big chase cards in Dynasty are way, way more exciting. The new class, you know, Starbull kind of made a splash with play or whatnot, but it wasn't the kind of splash where I was like, yeah, let's go buy a bunch of Everfest. Maybe not the splash we all wanted. And for me, sorry, I can't say that a set with Soraya the Marvel is the worst set. Can't do it. I can say that I'm really disappointed. We still haven't seen that Command & Conquer. I still don't know if it's real or everybody's just got cards, fake cards, I don't know, whatever. Anyways, here's your price check. I'm gonna check that real quick for you. You guys are amazing. So it looks like with today's price check, we hit $248 on this case. Not a terrible case of Dynasty. Not a terrible case of Dynasty. Again, you're not making all your money back, but not a terrible case. And of course, we got the Season Savior, checking that off of our list today. Really nice to see that. Nice to see a Marvel. We gotta get some more Marvels if we're ever gonna finish this set. Black Tech Whispers, of course, beautiful hit. And then we did pretty well in the Majestics. I mean, we did pretty well with we did well with the foils, let's put it that way. So Leave No Witnesses and Dead Eyes. Those are nice foils. We didn't get, you know, an extraction. We were one extraction away from hitting $300 on this case. And yes, I know the part most of you have been waiting for. There was a buckle. I did throw a buckle down there. If you missed it, you missed it, because I missed it. I did throw a buckle down there. That's the thing. Just write buckle below if you were part of Team Buckle. Let me know. And if you want to see the next video, because I do have more cases of Dynasty now, I will be opening more. Make sure you come back, check out for case 21 of Dynasty. I don't know when that's going to happen because we're going back to Outsiders after this, because we have a lot of work to do on both of these sets. We need some Marvels for Outsiders. You guys are the best. Peace out. Punch that subscribe button if you haven't, and we'll catch you next time.